Hi, I'm Dan Lakin and welcome to another episode of Around the World in 80 Drinks. I'm from Bar Events UK. Usually we do giant TVs, mobile bars and event staff, but we're not doing much of that at the moment. So I'm bringing you what is hopefully an entertaining show about making cocktails at home or even in bars, because I am a bartender and I can teach you a thing or two, I'd imagine. And we're going to bring you some awesome bartenders from around the world who are, really high in their game. So let's hope you can pick up some tips and tricks, whether it's for home or for bar use, and maybe a bit of knowledge as well. Knowledge goes a long way. So tonight we've got with us a guy from Nashville, Tennessee. He's working in an awesome bar over there, so you'll hear all about that later. But I'm making a Cuba Libre. And for those who don't know what it is, it's really easy. It's surprisingly even a cocktail. But what I want to show you is a method that we've never done on this before, and it's called building, which is barely even a method, but it is in the cocktail bar world, and how easy it is to make drinks. Drinks that are this easy to make, that have a name against them, as opposed to ordering a vodka and lemonade or rum and coke or whatever it may be. If it's called a cocktail for a reason, and it's stood the test of time. So it's worth making at home. It's worth trying the drink if you haven't had it. And it's so easy to do, you'll be making them all night. It's not the sort of thing you have to shake. So, all we're going to need is a Collins glass, some ice, some rum, and some coke, and a lime. We're making a rum and coke. So, the reason I wanted to, talk about this a little bit is just to say, how easy it is, as I've previously mentioned. So, the history of the Cuba Libre cocktail. It's well documented as being around the turn of the 20th century when Cuba won its freedom after the American-Spanish War of 1898. It's said that after the war ended around August 1900, Captain Russell of the US military ordered Bacardi rum with coke and a slice of lime. So the name was then coined as he toasted the phrase "Por Cuba Libre," for a free Cuba. So this phrase was obviously great significance at the time, especially as it is used by both American and Cuban citizens alike. So classically, it's a Bacardi and Coke. Whilst Bacardi rum is no longer Cuban, they vacated the island around that time, back when the American Prohibition hit, really. They're still considered the rum of choice when ordering a Cuba Libre. And like I say, as it's better known, a Bacardi and Coke, or here in Yorkshire, it's something along the lines, "Hey love, could I have a Bacardi and Coke, please?" That was a terrible Yorkshire accent. Often you say back, "Oh, we don't do Bacardi, we've got a different white rum." They respond, "I don't like rum." So, interesting facts about Yorkshire. I'm gonna start off by, like I say, using the build method. So I'm just gonna pop my ice cubes into the glass straight away. I'll tell you why in a minute. It's for ease of use, ease of stirring. Fill your glass full of ice. I need a knife. Had to walk not too far for that. Right, so I'm going to cut my lime down. We're going to put 2 or 3 lime wedges in this. So we're going to cut it into 8s. So what I'm going to do is put 2 squeezes in the glass straight away, and then I'm going to put a double measure of rum in. It can be white or gold. I think with Coke, really, a golden rum is always better. There's a lot more flavour in it. As I mentioned before, Bacardi White was the classic, and even today, if you order it in a bar, it's probably going to be Bacardi White or Havana White, something like that, something lighter than a gold. But in my opinion, a golden rum with something like Coke is always going to come through a lot better. I'm going to stick a large measure in. So here in the UK, a double shot is 50ml. Go to Nashville soon on this show, and he starts talking in ounces. So in ounces, it's similar to 50ml, a little bit more. It's just the way the weights and measures work compared to us. So that's it. So we've got rum and lime in there. The reason I put the ice in first and then the lime is that when I poured my rum in, the lime's somewhere in the bottom. So if you haven't got a straw or a stirrer, it doesn't matter too much. And then I'm going to put some Coke in. If you can, pour it down the side of the glass, i.e. not over the ice. It's going to hit the bottom of the glass. and again, won't require too much stirring. Then squeeze the lime over the top. And that is it. That is a Cuba Libre. It's a Bacardi and Coke or rum and Coke, but it's got lime in it. It's got loads of lime in. You want the lime all the way through the drink. That is what makes this drink. If you have a fancy bar spoon, as I mentioned before, bar spoons are 5ml. So when we're talking about measuring drinks and putting 12.5ml or 5ml of this in, get a bar spoon because it's really, really, really handy. You know the end's 5ml. And also it's good to just bring the rum through the drink, make sure it's all stirred together, and that's it. You may wonder why some of these bar spoons have got a spiral down them. So this isn't a great example. This is a Grey Goose bar spoon. Most of the bar spoons are flat at the bottom. This is designed in a particular way, which I won't go into, but if it's flat at the bottom, it's a better, easier example, should I say. So if you're layering drinks, for example, champagne or Prosecco, onto a shot of peach puree or whatever it is in the bottom of your champagne glass, you can pour champagne down it and it will make sure that that drink sits on top of the other drink that's in the bottom of the glass. If you're doing the same to shots, maybe a B52 or a slippery nipple, so if you've got Baileys maybe in your shot glass and you want to lay some Sambuca on top, whatever it is you're making. So basically put your base ingredient in first, and then you can pour the liquor down this spiral across the flat bottom onto the top of the liquor that's already in the glass. And this spiral slows down the rate that the liquor falls. And so then the flat bottom, or as you can see these wings on this goose, just put on the side of the glass, and it will disperse that liquid down the side of the glass at a slow rate and then across the top of the liquid in the bottom. So if you are a home bartender, grab yourself a bar spoon. They're really handy. If you're a bartender in a cocktail bar, there you go. That's some tips. Right, and there we go. A Cuba Libre. Cheers. Pour la Cuba. Pour Cuba Libre even. And that is a great drink. That's really easy to drink. You can bang those out 10 to a dozen. Make it, it's delicious. Right, okay. Let's go over to our guest. So, as I mentioned, he is in Nashville, Tennessee. He's in a cocktail bar over there. They've got the same sort of issues that we're having all over the globe with COVID. His name's Roger. He's awesome. Roll VT. Roger, thanks for coming on Around the World in 80 Drinks. How are you doing in Nashville?
Oh, I'm doing pretty swell. How are you guys doing over there in the UK?
Yeah, we're not doing too bad. The weather's all right at the moment, so I can't complain.
Good. Yeah, it's so when I walked in here today, it was probably about 85 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's getting warm.
Nice, yeah. Is it always that sort of weather over there at this time of year?
This time of year, yeah, it's usually pretty hot, and this is actually cooler than usual. Last year, I think we had 90 days straight over 90 degrees.
Oh my goodness.
It was hot.
So it's good weather to come over there and drink in the outside and then get into music venues and that sort of thing. It sounds like a proper party town.
Well, if the music venues were actually open, I would absolutely say yes. But with all of the COVID things going on, we actually have closed all of our bars and all of the live music venues and all of the places downtown that usually host live music are pretty shuttered for the time being. Places with a restaurant license can still be open and serve food and alcohol, but overall, just bars themselves are closed.
Yeah, okay. So tell us a bit more about that. So they can only serve alcohol if they're already serving food, otherwise they have to close. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So what it is in Tennessee, there are two different licenses you can have for serving alcohol. You can have a restaurant license and still have your alcohol license, or you can actually just have a license as a bar. So any place that has, I believe it's 51% revenue from food can still be open and serve alcohol, but any place that relies the majority of their money coming from alcohol, they have to actually close their doors, which is pretty rough. I've got some friends that have been closed since March, and they haven't been able to open at all. And there are some places that are open that, a lot of people are saying probably shouldn't be open, but that's not my place to say.
Yeah, okay. So I guess the thinking with that is, if it's food orientated, it's seated and not a normal sort of bar where you mix them together. Do you think that's right?
I'm sorry?
Do you think it's the thinking behind that is if it's restaurant based, then people are seated and they're socially distant, as opposed to a bar, they'll probably be mixing together and dancing together and that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's kind of the thinking that the mayor of the city has had. There are places that, people are still just kind of intermingling, and there have been a lot of issues. There are a lot of battles back and forth amongst people in the city. It's I can understand a little bit of both sides. I'm fortunate enough that we are still able to operate because we are a majority restaurant. We do have a decent portion of our income coming from alcohol, but we are a restaurant by nature.
Yeah, okay. And saying it was your mayor that decided that, that's another interesting thing about the US, is that you have mayors in control, and also there's the overall US government, which doesn't have as much of a say, and also then is it the state?
Yeah, it's really weird. There's 3 different levels of things going on. There's the mayor, there's the governor, there's the president, and everybody all butts heads, and nobody ever wants to just listen to one thing, and everybody just kind of, they do their thing.
Wow.
The governor has said one thing, the mayor has said something else, and it's just real all over the place.
God, that's a nightmare. So did you guys open back up in June? Is that right?
We opened back up in, I believe it was early to mid-June. Okay. Sounds about right.
And so when you opened up, was it all relatively plain sailing? Was it open as normal, or are you limited on numbers?
We are limited to about 50% capacity inside the restaurant. No bar seats at all. When I'm here, we're fortunate enough to have a second level in our restaurant that's actually just a cocktail lounge. So our restaurant itself, just a little bit of backstory, is a 1940s movie theater that's been turned into a restaurant downstairs and a cocktail lounge upstairs. So, we've got our downstairs, socially distanced properly, with, proper distance between the tables, and we can put up to 50% capacity down there. And then up at our cocktail lounge, unfortunately, no bar seats, so I don't get to have bar guests. Yeah. But our lounge is set up with couches and chairs, and just certain areas where there are tables. And it's one of those situations where I just kind of make my way through the lounge itself, and I'll take care of everybody that's out there. So I still have guests that come in, just nobody sitting directly across my bar top.
Yeah, okay. I know American bartenders rely on tips, really, don't you guys? So is that Correct. More complicated now? People can't sit in the bar areas, or is it do you just split it all out at the end, or how does that work? It's no different than normal, really.
Oh, okay. Granted, I have seen quite a shift in my finances, but that's a whole different argument. That just kind of comes from traffic. People are still a little bit afraid to go out and around. Yeah. And I can't necessarily blame them for it. It's a pretty ugly thing that we're dealing with right now. So the last thing anybody would want to do is, fall ill and then risk everybody else around them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so is your venue predominantly locals, or in normal circumstances, you get a lot of tourists?
It's a little bit of both, actually. We do have quite a local staple of people that'll come see us pretty regularly. But we are, we're pretty well known through the city as being a spot where, tourists will stop through and just, say hello, check out the place. Like I said, the building is quite historic. So it does have a bit of a backstory. And it kind of helps, too, that we have the most photographed women's bathroom in the entire United States.
That's incredible. Didn't know that.
Yeah, the women's bathroom downstairs is actually done up like an old dressing room.
Okay.
So before you actually walk into the bathroom itself, you walk into a big open room with mirrors and lights, and it's pretty wild.
Oh, awesome. Well, we'll add the tags to the venue and probably find the hashtag for that as well, so we can have a look in.
Absolutely. Yeah, it actually has its own hashtag. It's Sinema Selfie. Sinema with an S. Sinema Selfie.
Okay.
Has its own hashtag.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll add that hashtag to the comments and then people can search for that as well. So, tell us what you're drinking. Oh, it's not drinking. Tell us what you're making for us today. I'll leave it over to you.
Absolutely. So this is a cocktail on our menu right now. We're calling it the Joker Got Away. So in Nashville, there is a office building downtown that is very lovingly referred to and has been for a long time as the Batman building. It's a big, tall building, and it just has two big points on the top, and it looks like Batman's mask. This one also includes Bruce Wayne Chardonnay, so that ties right into the Batman theme. And Bacardi 8-year rum, so that there's a bat right on the bottle. So I figured just kind of have a little fun with the name. All of our cocktails are named after some sort of pop culture, movie, or music reference. So it just kind of all ties itself together. So this one's going to be 1.5 ounces of the Bacardi 8-year rum, which if you haven't tried it, it is a fantastic product. I'm going to do 1/2 ounce of my own falernum recipe. Everybody always wonders, falernum. And I've kind of taken it and spun about 14 different ingredients in mine. So it's quite spicy and it's fun.
Nice.
I'm going to do 1 ounce of fresh pineapple juice. Fresh is the way to go when it comes to pineapple juice. You can never go wrong. Don't use the canned stuff, please. And then we do 2 ounces of the Bruce Wayne Chardonnay. So all your acidity is coming from the Chardonnay and the pineapple instead of using any sort of major citrus or citric acid, malic acid, anything of the sort. So that one gets shaken down. Excuse me for a second. So once this one gets shaken down, this one actually is going to get served in a stemless glass over just crushed ice. So we're going over just crushed ice here. And then it gets topped with about 1/2 ounce of Angostura Amaro. This kind of floats right down through all the ice, and it looks real neat.
Amazing.
And it's going to get garnished with 2 fresh pineapple fronds. So it's going to be just right down in there for you. Real light, real fresh, real airy. Rolls into the tiki world, kind of. Not necessarily a tiki bar, so to speak, but it is one of those things that will appease your tiki drinker.
Yeah, absolutely. That looks absolutely delicious. Thanks for that. I wish I could drink it.
I'll have a sip for you.
Cheers. I'll toast to that.
I just poked myself in the eye with a pineapple frond, too, so don't do that. That hurts.
So when you sort of went out of shop there to your ice machine, your camera focused on your back bar, which looks absolutely amazing. What have you got on there?
So we are known for our whiskey selection. We've got about 200 to 250 whiskeys on our back bar. One of the largest selections in the city and in the state. So it's one of those things where we're pretty proud of it. I wish I could kind of show you the whole thing, and it's impressive. If you want, I can take a step out and you can kind of take a look real quick.
Yeah, why not?
Kind of take a peek.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah. And there are some things that are out of sight. There's a few other on either side. There's more cubbies of whiskey, and we're about 2 to 3 bottles deep in most places.
Oh wow! So do you have a lot of whiskey cocktails?
You know what? We try and kind of make the whiskeys go all the way around, the cocktails go all the way around. Since we have so many whiskeys, we don't want to focus so much on the whiskeys when it comes to the cocktail side of the menu. We like to let those kind of speak on their own. We do have a lot of things that are pretty hard to come by, even in whether it be for you guys or even for us. There are products back there that are not exactly the most easily accessible.
Oh, nice. So what sort of drinks are popular on your menu, cocktails-wise?
You know what? We're very seasonal. Our cocktail menu changes every couple of months. We'll take a couple things off, throw a couple things on, just to maintain that level of fresh and new. Lately, the rum and whiskey cocktails have been really taking off. it's one of those situations where you can never really be sure. One day I could make 10 of one thing and nothing of anything else, and then there are days where I'll make a little bit of everything.
Okay. Yeah, nice. So do you do any other like draft products on this bar, or is that limited to the restaurant?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you do draft products, draft beers, or is it all spirits cocktails?
Yeah, we've got 6 draft lines. You know, not very much. We're more so the cocktail, wine, and whiskey bar. 6 draft lines, a handful of bottles, and that's about it. We're not a big beer spot,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
we do kind of make sure that we can hit all of those flavors for anybody trying to have beer. We've got a pilsner and a Kolsch right now, a double Belgian, a sour,
Wow.
2 different pale ales, just to make sure that we can hit everybody.
Yeah, yeah, no, that sounds good. And what about wines? I guess with it being a fine dining restaurant, do you have a selection of wines, and are they US wines, or are they from all over?
We have a selection of wines from all over the place. Yeah, really just depends on what you're looking for. Our beverage director is a sommelier, so he just kind of will walk us through, and if there's a question that we can't answer, he will actually just go straight to the table himself and answer for it.
Oh, wow, nice. Nice, a wine sommelier. So it must be a big place. Do you have a lot of staff there?
It's definitely not small. We've got a handful of people in here.
Yeah.
The bar staff is a little smaller, and it's honestly not bad that way. We just make sure that we're all taken care of, and we always get our shifts in a week, so can't really complain.
Yeah, nice. And what are you there? Did you say you're the lead bartender?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
I've been
okay.
here for just under 3 years now.
Wow. And just going back to the size, it's difficult to tell the size of the venue, but it's obviously big with it being an old cinema. And how many covers do you do and that sort of thing?
Really depends on the day, and pre or post COVID, that's a whole different answer.
Yeah.
But we're a big brunch city. Everybody in Nashville really loves their brunch, and the tourists really love their brunch. So on a Saturday or Sunday morning and afternoon, before COVID, we were not out of the ordinary to see 350, 400 people roll through here in a matter of about 4 hours or so.
That's incredible. So is it predominantly brunch that you do? Does it get quieter in the evenings, or are you still busy then?
Oh, no. Evenings for us, again, pre and post COVID are two very different answers. An average weekend pre was, 150 or so people on a Friday, Saturday night.
Wow, nice. The back bar looks amazing. I wish I could have a tour of the venue, but what I'll have to do is direct everyone to the Facebook and the Instagram, and people can have a look around and hopefully visit when they visit the US again.
Yeah, there's an actual walkthrough on the Sinema Nashville website, just cinemanashville.com. There's a walkthrough where you can actually virtually tour the lounge itself.
Oh, fantastic.
So you can see the back bar, you can see how everything's laid out. It's pretty nice. It's a good way to kind of get a feel for where you're going before you're actually there.
Yeah, awesome. We'll definitely post the links and I'll check that out myself.
Sounds good.
Look, Roger, I want to thank you. It's 15 minutes already, and this is our slot. But thanks so much for coming on Around the World and 80 Drinks, everybody. It's Roger in Nashville, USA. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Massive shout out to Roger for taking time out of his day and filming with us. Also, a massive shout out to the Sinema in Nashville for letting him do it there in his own time. So we'll post the links to those places, or to that place and Roger in the comments to this, so please do check it out. And also just relating back to the Cuba Libre, what I forgot to mention was these drinks are made for you at home to be played with. So, I didn't have Bacardi, so I used Mount Gay, which is a fantastic rum from Barbados. If you don't have that, try a spice rum. This is a really good spice rum. It was given to me by the guys at Ahara's spice rum. It's quite a sweet spice rum, but sticking that with Coke is absolutely amazing. So try different things. We've got a bottle of Gosling's Black Seal here, which is a rum from Bermuda, and it's really dark. That obviously in colour. That is an absolutely fantastic rum as well. But then also, what happens if you don't put it with Coke and you've got a large measure of rum in the bottom of your glass? Maybe have a look at your shopping at the sandwich aisle in your supermarket where all the drinks are in cans, and see what might go with rum, because I guarantee San Pellegrino will go with rum. I was in there earlier buying my can of Coke, and I saw an iced latte, and I thought, what a great idea. Whip the top off that, stick it in your glass of rum, away you go, although I wouldn't put the lime in. So this is about mixing ingredients that you've got at home that you think might go with rum. Or if you take the rum out, what else is going to go with your Coke? But then it's just a vodka and Coke, isn't it, really? So get some rums, play with rums, get some canned products and play with those, because hopefully in the coming weeks we're going to get some bartenders on here which are all over canned products and are making their own spritzers at home. So that's just water in a soda can, in a soda stream thing, with basically their own natural ingredients. Where last week we had lemongrass, and it might be all sorts of things. So basically making your own soft drinks and finding a way for spirits to go with these soft drinks to make both things better, the spirits and the soft drinks. So it's not just a Cuba Libre at the end of the day, it's whatever you want it to be. You're at home, or you're a bartender in a bar, you've got loads of different things to choose from. Just play with it and have some fun. So, if you've enjoyed this, please tag some friends that might enjoy this as well. And I also want to know where you want to go to in the world. Let us know and we'll try and get there virtually. We'll try and find a bartender or a bar somewhere, anywhere on this planet that you want to go to. If there's any drinks that you want to know about, if there's any liqueurs or spirits or anything that you want to play with, let us know and we'll try and get a drink on this show that you can make with those ingredients. So all I want you to do is share it far and wide. We're now live on YouTube, so if you can share our YouTube channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We're starting to come away from the Facebook thing and hold everything on YouTube. So please share our YouTube channel far and wide. Tag people, email it to people, whatever it is you do, share it on Insta, share it on Facebook. We want to get this as far as possible. So, anyone who's still watching, thanks a lot for watching. I'm Dan Lakin. This has been Around the World in 80 Drinks, and I